So what are phenolics? This week we're going to talk about phenolic immunotherapy and how sometimes those little tiny chemicals can be quite the bugger when we're working on trying to improve and resolve metabolic issues and some digestive concerns. So not everybody is going to need to participate in utilizing phenolics, but for those that do, let's give a little bit of understanding for that. So when you eat a food, it's not just the food that you're eating. Let's say it's a strawberry. It's not just the strawberry you're eating. Once that strawberry gets broken down into teeny tiny little pieces, it also breaks down into the chemistry that makes up that strawberry, the phytochemicals, otherwise known as phenolics. These phenolics are also called your neurotransmitters, and they also influence your hormones. So it's quite the progression. And if we're not digesting and utilizing all the tiny little parts of the food that we're eating and we're rejecting any of those little chemicals, we're going to have some negative impact on our neurotransmitters, which is all the brain chemistry and all the chemistry that tells the body what to do to regulate it. And we're going to have some issues in our hormones. So sometimes people will notice that, let's say they were able to tolerate pretty much everything, but then suddenly a few years back, who knows what happened, all of a sudden I couldn't tolerate dairy, and then all of a sudden I couldn't have blueberries, and then apples, and then I was sensitive to chemicals, and the list gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I just call that the phenolic net, because it's not the food or even the food group that you're having an issue with. It could be the phenolic breakdown that your body is having trouble resonating to. So phenolic immunotherapy is a very simple homeopathic version of teaching the brain to see these particles different, to see this plant chemistry differently, so that it doesn't constantly have to put up a fight or a rejection. Now, what I love about phenolics is they're homeopathic. They allow your body to choose. They don't cause negative feelings. I've used them myself. I've used them in lots of people, and I don't hear reports of things feeling bad. They just help your body to see the food differently. Now, do you have to be on them forever? No. They usually are. They go through the rounds, and then we are doing the other teeter-totter things to help your body to digest better and to downregulate that stress response. And so phenolics are just a part of the puzzle. So this week you may be adding those in. Usually after your next assessment with me is when we take a look at that. So when you take your phenolics, all you do, you might have one, you might have three. You might have a couple levels of them where you're taking 3 at a time. It really just depends on what we find on the bioenergetics assessment. And so you can take them all at one time. Let's say you have 3 droppers. You can take all the droppers at one time. Just put them underneath the tongue, hold them for 18 seconds, and then just go ahead and swallow. And you could add them to water if you would prefer to do that. But they're pretty simple and easy to take. Once the bottle is all done, then you are done, and it's probably about time for the next assessment by then. So if you have any questions, I'm sure your coach can get some messages to me or answer them herself. So good luck, and we'll talk to you the next session.